My name is Brian, and this is the story of how I am making a movie. It's a story that I hope will one day soon have a very happy ending. Who am I and what exactly are you watching? Well, my name is Brian Johnson and I am just an ordinary guy. As I record this, I am not famous. I am not somebody you should know if you want to be culturally hip or anything like that. I am a husband of 25 years. I am a father of now 21 years, 3 children ranging from 21 to 13, and I live in Redmond, Oregon. And I have had a pretty much lifelong dream of making a motion picture. What you're watching is my attempt at kind of a regular update inspired by something that Peter Jackson did when he was making King Kong. When he was making King Kong, he had an auxiliary film crew filming the behind-the-scenes footage, and although I haven't seen any of it, apparently every day they would have a short YouTube upload of the filming, so that fans of filmmaking and fans of Peter Jackson, fans of any aspect of that, could watch and see a movie actually being made. And I kind of like that idea, and just for fun, as something to do on the side as I'm actually making a movie, I'm going to try this. This is not the first time I have tried this, and I will spend the first couple of these episodes going over my personal history and how we got to this point, so this will all make more sense at the end of maybe episode 2 or 3. But I tried making a blog way back when I first got this particular idea that I'm currently working on. And the idea that I'm currently working on has had so much downtime because I'm just an amateur. This is not a production with studio backing. We do not have a 2-month time frame to shoot it. You know, we're not constant. I'm not constantly working on it. There were so many episodes where there was nothing to talk about that eventually I scrapped it, and that process has happened, I think, 3 times now, maybe even 4. Here we are in 2026. Whether you've seen those earlier attempts on YouTube or not doesn't matter. Everything you need to know will be right here going forward, and I think at this point, enough will be happening going forward that I can catch you up on what you have missed, and having interesting episodes every week should be a little more possible. A little more possible. They may not all be fascinating, like this first one. But I want to just introduce you to who I am so that you get a better idea going forward of what's going into this. And again, to start, I'm nobody famous. I was born in La Mirada, California in 1974 and grew up just a normal kid. No idea, not thinking ahead really about plans for the future. Every kid has little dreams. And I think at one point I wanted to be an illusionist like David Copperfield. Of course, I grew up near Disneyland. And I have enjoyed trains ever since I was a young kid. There was a significant period in my life where I was convinced I would be a locomotive engineer, not of a freight train, but of a train like Disneyland or something like that. Really, everything I've ever wanted to do in life, from the moment I ever conceived of the idea of a career, revolved around entertaining people. So, the guy on the microphone on a train, like a zoo train or a Disneyland train. And now over on your left and over on your right. Of course, the Disneyland train is a recorded voice, but to be that person entertaining a crowd infected everything I want to do.
This land is your land, straight Thailand, California, New York Island, the river forest, the stream water. This land was made, you and me.
it infected my childhood play. I would take my stuffed animals and I would sit them up on the couch facing the front plate glass window in our home in Utah. And I would pull open the curtains, they would part, they're very cinematic curtains. And I would imagine that my animals were watching a movie and I was the projectionist. It was a very fun, convenient game for me as a child, because then I could go do something else entirely while my animals were watching the movie. I could play two games at once. The game that they were watching a movie, and then whatever else I wanted to do, sometimes for hours. Sometimes those movies were hours long, and then my mother would remind me to put my stuffed animals away. My focus in life became obvious. It became sharp focus. Sorry, that was a focus dial. It became very obvious when my dad bought a VHS home video camera. This is back when they were relatively new. Not everybody had one. My dad had a good job with United Parcel Service and surprised us all one day. Surprised even my mother. I think I recall seeing on her face a look of, oh, did we talk about this? I don't know for sure, but I think I have that memory. And this was back when home video cameras were the bricks that you set on your shoulder. You got a good workout just by trying to film the family vacation. And I fell in love with it. My parents had to come ask me where it was and say, Brian, you need to bring that back. I was the one who wanted to do all the filming on family vacations. I have entire ride-throughs in Disneyland before it was a cool thing to put on YouTube, before YouTube existed. And I very quickly realized, this is what I want to do. This is what I love. I am thrilled with this. And so in junior high and high school, I started making movies with friends. They were short movies. Some of them were a lot of nonsense. In fact, the early movies, I will put that in big quotes, were just me and my friends getting out the camera, doing absolutely nonsensical things, filling up entire 2-hour VHS tapes over the course of several weekends with whatever came to mind. They are still in the house. My mother will not let me burn them. But I will not show them to anyone. Ever. No. In high school, we did actually write some scripts. My friends in the church youth group and I would write some scripts, and we'd create, we'd kind of alternate between something that had an actual story, this summer, and then the next summer we'd do something that was just like a, what are they, a comedy variety, sketch comedy. It was just a segment and a segment and a segment, and they were silly, but they were definitely more organized than my junior high efforts. And I don't remember exactly when I knew, but I knew I wanted to go to film school, and that's what I wanted to do with my life, was be a film director. So I went to film school. I went to Bob Jones University in South Carolina. They had a film department, unusual films, and I spent 4 glorious years working with 16 millimeter film and learning the process, and for my senior year actually creating a short 16 millimeter film. It actually exists as a reel. You can put it on a projector, project it on a screen. It was glorious, and I need to actually contact them and see if I can get a copy. But I want to keep these videos short. One of the reasons the earlier series did not last is because I was trying to make them 15 to 20 minutes, and that's a lot of editing to do every week. So we're almost up to 10 minutes. I have a little stopwatch running here. I'm going to make them 10 minutes. They're just going to be little nuggets each week of what's going on. So we need to stop there. I got you from childhood to college, and I'll be back next week to inform you just a little bit more about who is blathering on at you and the film that he wants to make. Thanks for watching, and see you next week on Brian's Big Movie. Hopefully every Monday. I haven't picked a time for uploading yet, but we'll get that settled.